Hi everyone, Dario Bartolomeo here. Thank you for your time. The topic for today is with regards to the use of virtual communities of practice in the financial planning industry. As we know, the landscape around financial planning has changed significantly over the last decade or so. So from a networking perspective and a collegiate environment perspective, traditionally advisors were housed in regional offices, or they came together quite regularly for training sessions and conferences and off-sites and so on and so forth, normally into a central source. What my report kind of highlights is that given the changes that we're seeing in financial planning, and also some of the changes and innovations that we're seeing in technology, is that the use of these virtual communities of practices and virtual peer groups are really filling the gap the gap around keeping advisors connected, but also the gap around learning and assistance and that sense of community that we used to have. It's fair to say that with the legislative changes that we've sort of seen, it's a very difficult environment for advisors. It's very difficult for them to sort of keep up with all the changes that we're sort of seeing. And in the absence of those kind of peer groups and conferences, my view is, and my research has shown, that using technology such as Zoom and Workplace and keeping advisors connected on a regular basis makes a real difference. We can also look at more specific type of topics for these peer groups, so they can be very specialised. And what I mean by that, we can have a peer group for advisors that specialise in aged care or in insurance or in wealth management. But more so, it is an opportunity for them to share best practice, to really have a bit of an understanding of what's happening outside their own licensee, and really generate some additional insights as well. Ultimately, I think for our perspective, there's a significant advantage post the Royal Commission in keeping these advisors connected and keeping our communication channels open with them as well. So what I suggest that we do is we have a really good look at our panel of advisors, and then ultimately try to have the scenario where what we might be able to do is have some real targeted peer groups and communities of practice and use technology such as Zoom, such as Workplace, to be able to help these advisors out in a peer-to-peer environment. And then that can kind of cascade into other areas. So, for example, what we'd like to do in the future is use these peer groups as a mechanism for learning, as a learning system. And then who knows, we might even be able to look at other aspects such as mentoring, as we see new advisors come through, and even things like virtual client seminars. Thank you.